different ways to make money from your expertise and experience, coming up right now on the Rise to the Top podcast. And welcome, my friends, to the Rise to the Top podcast. It's your great and good friend, David Seidman-Garland, a.k.a. DSG. I'm just slurping here on this little coffee protein shake. I've been obsessed with these, taking a little cold brew coffee, little ice, little protein, little banana, having a good old time over here. And that has nothing to do with anything. I have no idea why I just talked about it. But let's get into today's podcast topic, which is a little bit different. And we're doing a new little series here coming up on the Rise to Top podcast. And I'll be very interested to hear what you guys think about this. But, you know, we talk all the time about online courses, right? Online courses. And online courses are amazing. It is obviously our number one business model. It's what I teach. It's what my business is. It's we could list all the things that we talk about with online courses. I mean, this is episode 61 of the Rise Up podcast. You can listen to 60 episodes about online courses, but I thought it would be kind of cool to do something a little bit different here and talk about some other ways to make money from your expertise and experience, breaking down some different revenue generating things that you can do. And, these are all things that are very ethical. They're very interesting, and they're just different ways that you can make money from your expertise and experience. And so what I wanted to do here was kind of kick off a little mini series here on the podcast, and maybe we'll even have some guests. So I don't know. We'll figure it out to talk about kind of some of these different business models as well. And we're going to talk about pros, talk about cons, that kind of thing. And, what we're talking here is, whether you're in the online course, the expert industry, or you're aspiring to be in the expert industry, in the advice industry, this is all about helping people. That's the overall goal, whether it's an online course or other things that you might do, or an online course combined with other things that you might do, right? There's a lot of ways that you could do this to be able to help people. But the thesis statement of everything that we do is all about taking your experience and expertise and turning it into a successful business by helping others. That is really the core thesis of what I do and what I teach. And we do it in a way that we show people, ethical, amazing ways to do this. And, I thought it'd be just interesting to go through some different models. And the idea here is to pick the ones that work for you, right? The picking ones that work for you. And what works for Joe might not work for Sally. It works for Tom, might not work for, whatever, right? The bottom line here is picking ones that work for you. And here's a few kind of pieces of information before we get into today's kind of meat of this episode, is realize that this might change over time. Your business model now might be very different in 2 years. It might be very different in 5 years. It might be very different in 10 years, okay? So realize that this is not like getting a tattoo. It's not the world's most permanent thing. The idea is your business and you will evolve over time, and that's cool. That's cool. My business model when I got started is very different than what it is now 11 years later. So realize that, you will evolve, you will change, your business model will change, and that's awesome, right? The key, though, if I were to kind of pinpoint on a few things here, is you don't want to choose too many business models to focus on. If you do that, that's a recipe for disaster. And that's true of so many different things when it comes to this world, focusing on too many traffic strategies, focusing on too many monetization strategies. It's the same thing. You end up not getting traction with anything, right? Because you're trying so many different things. So the key is to focus on one at a time, maybe two. If you're feeling insane, maybe two, but one at a time is great to focus on. And then when that's running at, a really strong pace, or it's really crushing it, then maybe you can go to a different one and kind of add in more revenue. But you definitely don't want to focus on more than 1 to 2 at a time, right? Definitely. No matter what, no matter who you are, no matter how many Red Bulls you've drank or whatever it is, no, 2 at the most, okay? The key is finding what you enjoy and what works for you to help you get customers and clients results. And that's going to be the key, is really focusing on that. And the other mistake, and I know this is going to sound like a crazy one here, the other key or the other mistake is people don't choose. And I know you're thinking, well, I mean, that's hard. What do you mean they don't choose? And what I mean by that is people don't have a business model. They don't have a way of making money, and that's not good. And regardless of where you're at right now, if you're in business right now and you're looking to make more money or improve your lifestyle, whatever it is, or if you have a job and you're doing this as a side hustle or you're thinking about something that you can build, it doesn't matter. The key is, though, you have to put a priority on your business model and revenue generating activities. And I know, again, Captain Obvious, but you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised what happens in the industry. So those are the key things. So today, what I want to focus on is what I call non-products. Non-products. So this essentially means your time, right? So taking your time, trading it for dollars, dollars for hours. We'll talk about a few different models here and explain some of the pros and cons of them. Okay. So that's what we're going to focus on as well, because, not everyone, but a lot of people start with this. A lot of people start with this. You do not have to start with this by any means. Some people start with a course. Some people start with this or that, but I just want to go through some of these kind of simple business models when it comes to your time. Okay. So the most obvious, the most simple, the thing that pretty much everybody knows in the world is one-on-one work with people. One-on-one work with people. So call it coaching, call it consulting, whatever you want to call it. People have different terms, different definitions of it. It's all good. Coaching, consulting, whatever you want to call it. And by doing this, you end up learning a lot. You end up learning a lot about yourself. You end up learning a lot about your customers because you're working with them in the most intimate or one-on-one way possible. I mean, one-on-one. There you go. I mean, there's nothing more raw than that, if you will. So you'll end up learning a lot along the way, no matter what your topic is or whatever your expertise is. You'll end up learning about where kind of commonalities are between customers. You'll see common questions. You'll see common issues. You'll see things that come up, and you'll become a better coach by working one-on-one with people. So there's a lot of positives for doing one-on-one work, for sure. And it's a great place that many people start, not that you have to, as also the overhead is very, very low. Very, very low. Still, you have to know marketing skills and list building and being able to convert people into clients and all those skills, yes, but there's not much overhead. You're not creating a product. You're not doing any of that kind of stuff when it comes to coaching. It's essentially very, very low overhead, right? And by the way, there's also lots of ways to do it. There's a lot of ways to do it. You could be in person. It might be online. It might be a one-time thing with someone, or it might be ongoing. Maybe it's weekly, maybe it's monthly, whatever it might be. Some people have VIP days where they, people fly to them or they fly to people and they work with them for a full day. There's a lot of different models within one-on-one coaching, right? So it's finding something that you feel comfortable with that works, but there's a lot of different ways that you could do this, okay? And it also appeals to a very specific type of person, the person that wants just you. The whole kit and caboodle, for better or worse, they want you. And that's where one-on-one coaching can come in as well. Now, on the negative side of one-on-one coaching, there's obviously a cap on this for many, many reasons, right? You have limited time, you've got limited energy, and I can see people getting overwhelmed with this very quickly. More clients they take on, more things on your calendar, more stresses. Also, if you get sick, go on vacation, those are all things you have to really work out when it comes to one-on-one because you're trading dollars for hours. So that's on the negative side of one-on-one. There's obviously a cap. I mean, you could charge some kind of maximum rate over time, but there's always going to be a cap on what you could charge and always going to be a cap on the amount of customers that you can have. So that's kind of a scope, both sides of one-on-one coaching. Okay. Now, what's next after one-on-one coaching? And then you've got kind of the group coaching model. And with that, you've got more leverage. So instead of one-on-one, it's 1-on-5 or 1-on-10 or whatever it is. There's a lot of group coaching models as well. And, you can see this is very similar to one-on-one coaching in a lot of ways, and it's different in a few ways, right? There's still a cap on it. There's only so many people you could coach in groups, right? You're not going to have a group of 1,000 people or something like that. So to get that kind of access to you, there's still going to be a cap on it, right? And also, it's a little bit of a different customer than one-on-one coaching because this is someone, for lack of a better term, that plays well with others, right? So someone in a group coaching program, an ideal customer, is someone that doesn't mind that there's 4 or 5 or 10 other people, whatever it is, right? The way you structure it, it's someone that says, listen, I can learn in this environment. I just, groups work better for me. Some people work one-on-one better. Some people work with groups better. It's all a personality type, right? Now, there is, like I said, a cap on this, But there's also ways to leverage that cap. So I'll give you an example. We have a group coaching, mentorship, and accountability program called the Create Awesome Online Courses Accelerator. And what the Accelerator is, it's 90 days of working in a small group, and you also get one-on-one attention as well. And the way that we've leveraged that program, and by the way, there's going to be a new enrollment period coming up soon for Create Awesome Online Courses Accelerator. Go to createawesomeonlinecourses.com/accelerator. There's my shameless plug there, and you can enter your name and email. You'll find out more information when the next group of Accelerator is going to be accepting students, which is going to be very, very soon, by the way. Fun fact. But with Accelerator, we also have hired coaches. We have amazing course coaches in Accelerator. So it's not just me coaching, it's our entire team and program, and we've built that up over time. So that's an example of how you can leverage group coaching in the future. But when you're starting in your first few years in business and whatever it might be, group coaching is going to be you working with small groups. That's what it is. And again, there's ways to leverage it later. That's why we do a really program that involves me, but also my coaches and my team, etc. That's more leverage. That's kind of more of an advanced tactic. That's what we do with the Accelerator program. But that's an example of group coaching. Okay. Then let's look at some other models. Speaking. Okay. So I've got 5 models I'm going to go through here. One-on-one work with people, group coaching, and now we're going to talk about speaking here. So speaking is, and by the way, if you're looking for someone awesome about speaking, one of my good friends in a Create Awesome Online Courses graduate, an amazing guy, David Newman. He is the man when it comes to all things in the speaking world. And speaking is awesome. When I actually started back in 2008, 2009, I was very passionate about speaking. I went to the events. I wanted to learn, how do I become a professional speaker? How do I get paid to be on stages and do these things? And I did it for years. And speaking, like coaching, comes in many different forms, right? So we're talking on stages, keynote speakers, workshop speakers, breakout session speakers. It might be something where you get paid upfront for your speech. It might also be something where you maybe don't get paid, but you have things on the back end that you sell, products or other programs or whatever it might be. So there's a lot of different models when it comes to speaking, right? And there's the opportunity, like I said, on the back end, if you have other products or programs that you develop as well. And speaking's great because, you are an expert on stage. You're up there on stage and it will help build your authority. It's a lot of fun. It's funny, David Newman always has this kind of little game he plays, and I love this. He has a picture, and he shows a picture of someone up on stage speaking and a big audience. And he said, circle the smartest person in the room. And what does everybody do? They circle the speaker, right? Because when you're up there, you're the authority, and that's a great thing, and it's a lot of fun. You get to meet a lot of people, right? And of course, like with every business model, every piece of revenue generation, right? There's challenges as well. Every model has challenges, all of them, right? With speaking, again, it's your time. You get sick, you can't make the speech, right? You don't feel well, whatever it is, that's not good. It's your time. And also, obviously, there's going to be travel involved here. There's going to be rolly bags and airplanes and hotels. And if that gets you going, that's awesome. If that's not for you, that's awesome as well, right? Either way, it just depends on you, your personality. If that fires you up going to different cities, and I know plenty of people that make a great living from doing this, and that fits their personality and their style. And like I said, all of these models are going to either resonate with you or not, each one, right? So you have to be honest with yourself when you hear about these. Does this excite you, or does it make you say, oh, no, that's totally not me. That's totally not me. So think about that as you hear these different models. So that's speaking. And that's a great example of, again, another way of turning your expertise and experience into revenue, okay, in a nice way. Then we've got events, okay? So events, no surprise here, also come in many different forms. We've hosted many events myself, all different types of them, but there's small, intimate events, with higher ticket, small people, more of a, not small people, but a small amount of people. There might be small people. I don't know. Maybe the people are big. Maybe they're small. We don't really know. But small amount of people, and it might be more of a workshop style event. It might be more of a motivational event. It might be something where you're speaking the whole time. It might be something that you bring in other people to speak. You might be hiring people. You might be doing the big conference where you bring in sponsors and a whole thing, or it might be on a very small level. So events have many different shapes and sizes, okay? And what's what's good about events is you get to experience people up close and personal. You get to build those relationships offline with people. And that could be, for lack of a better term, that could be good or bad. That might get you really excited. That might terrify you. But you're going to see people in the raw at events, good and bad and ugly. You're going to get all that. So you get to experience that, up close and personal and get to know people, right? Also, with events, you're obviously going to have more costs depending on what it is, right? So if you're doing the big event, you're going to have obviously event space and, lighting and God knows what and music and stuff like that. I remember way back in the day, I emceed an event for Allie Brown, who's awesome, one of my mentors to me way back in the day. And I just remember it was unbelievable. There were thousands of people there. It was just a huge thing in Dallas, Texas, had a blast. But she took on, obviously massive cost to make it a really cool event. But you could also do it very small as well and just be renting out a little space or doing it at a house or whatever it is. And, we used to run some events here. We had one several years ago, really small 8-person event. We did a lot of cool stuff. We took people to a baseball game. We took them out for VIP dinners. So there's a lot of things you could do with events that are a lot of fun, and it might be going somewhere or it might be hosting it in your town. So events are another model that is great when it comes to revenue generating, right? On turning your expertise and experience, and it's great. Okay. Now, one final one. So we went through one-on-one work with people, group coaching, speaking, events. And the last one I'm going to talk about in this episode, and I'll have more coming in future episodes as we talk about products and other things as well, masterminds. So masterminds are smaller groups that meet more frequently, and it normally is a high-ticket item. When we did a mastermind back in 2015, a seat at my mastermind was a minimum of $20,000. And if you paid with I think we had a payment plan, it could be upwards of $25,000, okay? So masterminds are higher ticket, far more intimate, far more curated. And again, there's different ways to do masterminds, online, offline, but there's usually a hybrid of both. There's going to be some kind of online component where you meet, maybe it's weekly, bi-weekly, whatever it might be. And then there's probably going to be something in person. So an in-person event that might be once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year, 4 times a year, something like that, right? And with a mastermind, right, it's, a little more difficult when you're starting out, because you need to have a reputation in a network here. This is going to be critical. So a lot of times a mastermind model is something that comes later on. Once you've kind of built credibility, whether it's with courses or coaching or something else, a lot of times masterminds are not the first move. I've seen people do masterminds as the first move, and that's cool. I'm not saying that that's not possible, but a lot of times it's going to be something leveraged from something else. I mean, again, yes, people have done this as their first move, but a lot of times it becomes, move 3 or move 4 becomes adding in a mastermind to something else that's already working, right? So the other thing with that, it's higher ticket. There's going to be, a higher level of experience needed that you're going to be giving to people. And so that's going to take a little more work as well when it comes to doing a mastermind. So those are kind of the 5 big ways of, let's call it dollars for hours with different leverage that you can do when it comes to ways to make money from your expertise and experience that are a lot of fun and actually help people get results. And we always keep this in mind, whether it's one-on-one work with people, group coaching, speaking, events, or masterminds. Again, it's all about helping people. That's what this business model is all about, regardless of how you package it, present it, sell it, and whatever it might be. That's what this is all about. Always keep that in mind as you move forward. So, a few more things here. Number 1, let me know how you like this episode, talking about some different things besides online courses, but under that umbrella of turning your expertise and experience into your dream business and, being able to monetize it and focus on revenue generating, which is what I love talking about. So if you like these, let me know and I'll get some experts on here. We'll bring on some friends. We can talk a whole hootenanny about all this kind of good stuff. I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. So let me know. Send me an email at david@therisestop.com or post it in our Rise Nation Facebook group. Or if you're in Create Awesome Online Courses, post that in the Facebook group. Let me know. And we'll do more of these and we'll see how it goes. And we'll go from there, my friends. Okay. Let's see. On the way out, a few different fun facts. Obviously, brand new episodes of the Rise Stop podcast every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Central. Make sure you go to therisestop.com/subscribe. And by the way, coming very soon, is the next round of Create Awesome Online Courses Accelerator Program, which is 90 days of coaching, accountability, and mentorship to launch your online course. And we've gotten heck of results from our first round of accelerators. We're going to be doing, which completely sold out. We're going to be doing another round here coming soon. If you're interested, go to createawesomeonlinecourses.com/accelerator, and we'll let you know when we are opening that up and application information, all that kind of jazz. All right. I will see you next time. It's been David Site McGarland here on the Rise Top Podcast. And remember, if you want some fluff, you know what to do. Go pet a bunny.